Um, the first circumstances with regards to the reasonable man test, right? The first things that we have to consider is the flexibility in the meaning of reasonableness, right? Whereby the courts, have the freedoms, all right, actually to determine by a case by case basis. Yeah, it may be a reasonable man, right, in one case but not in the other. Okay, case to illustrate, there are a number of cases to illustrate this. For example, in Nettleship and Weston's, right? Because the court stated that it will be very difficult to take into account the different levels of experience of each defendants. So in this particular case, it's about a learner driver who have actually caused any injuries to the plaintiff. So the court held that, even though she is a learner driver, then she is also liable because she has, driven the car far below the standard of care. So she has breached the duty of care. Right. So there are a number of other cases, which is Glasgow Corporation against Muir, Chen Sun Lee, Government of Malaysia against Jumat bin Mahmud, right? Muhammad Raihan bin Ibrahim, right, with regards to ascertaining, determining the meaning of reasonableness itself, right? So I can just read one of them. Maybe the case of Chen Sun Lee against Chong Vun Pin, where a schoolgirl drowned at sea during a picnic organized by the school. It was proven that no one was aware that the particular area of the beach where the child was playing was dangerous. In an action by the father against the school, the court found that the school had taken all the reasonably necessary steps to safeguard the safety of the children, and thus the school was not liable. So this depends on the circumstances of the case. Quite often, what is regarded as reasonable behavior varies according to the circumstances of the case. Yeah, so there are other cases I mentioned: Government of Malaysia and others against Jumat bin Mahmud and Muhammad Raihan bin Ibrahim. As in Government of Malaysia and others against Jumat bin Mahmud, what happened in this case? With regards to a pupil who was sitting behind the plaintiff pricked the plaintiff's thigh with a pin. The plaintiff turned around and his eye came into contact with the sharp end of a pencil which the pupil was holding. Right? The eye was badly injured and had to be removed. The High Court held that the form mistress liable in negligence. On appeal, the Federal Court held that in considering whether or not the defendants were in breach of their duty of care, it was necessary to consider whether the risk of injury to the plaintiff were reasonably foreseeable. Assuming it was, the next question was whether the defendant had taken reasonable steps to protect the plaintiff against this risk. In this case, the court found that the particular form mistress did not expose the plaintiff to injury that was reasonably foreseeable. Further, constant vigilance in the classroom would not have prevented the injuries sustained by the plaintiff. The defendant's appeal was accordingly allowed. Okay, so it depends on the circumstances of the case in determining the reasonableness of that, or whether there is a breach or not. Yeah. Okay. I'll see you in my next video on level of intelligence and knowledge in determining duty of care and breach of that particular duty. Yeah. Okay. See you.